Howdy y'all, welcome back to my channel. This is AR Cavley, and we're going to further explore LW610 with the crew of the Wanda. When we left, the Owen Carter had taken 3 people on the ATV to go do his own exploration to try to square the results of the survey, which he could not do in the lab, so he's decided he needs to go out and take care of it. But as we finished last time, we had our looming crisis. Now, the looming crisis is not something that you always have to use. But at this point, we've been playing for a little while, and really nothing super interesting or exciting has happened. You know, there's been some good crew interaction, but no real challenges, no real dangers that they faced. So I'm going to go ahead and we're going to use the looming crisis, see what's going on. All right, 1 die 6 for the looming crisis. Let's see what happens, and then we'll work it into our narrative. 2. Crazed crewman. Uh-oh. All right, so one of the crew or an NPC close to the characters goes crazy and attempts to kill the other crew members or eat them or dismember them. So we don't know exactly why, but one of the crewmen has gone crazy and is going to start trying to kill people. All right, now here's a second roll. This is why they went crazy. And this is page 78 and 79 under the looming crisis. Let's take a look. 4. Infected with a transmittable virus. Okay, so somebody, while they were out there taking their soil samples, got scratched or bit by something, and has gone crazy. Let's see who it is. Who is our problem? 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, Luke. Well, maybe he went crazy after the crapper blew up on him. No, he was out. He was out taking soil samples along with everybody else. He's on the ship. So let's see how this plays out. All right, and of course, that works out pretty well because now half of the crew is gone. So now there's only 3 people who are ready, who might be able to stop him. Let's see. So how is this going to manifest? What exactly is he going to do? Now it says he starts killing people. Let's take a look at our inspiration tables. Whoops. Roll too far. So what we're going to do is we're going to, just for inspiration tables, we're going to roll. Actually, he could do surface or ship. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to roll and then pick which one looks more interesting. Seems more interesting to me. All right, so that's 4 and 2. So for ship, 4 and 2 is a klaxon. Ooh, that sounds good. He might, yeah, that sounds like he might set off a false alarm or something. And on the surface, darkness. I think klaxon works better. Okay, I think that works. So klaxon, and the other inspiration, this time, because he's starting to do something, I'm going to use the action inspiration. 3 and 2. Remove. Remove Klaxon. Okay, well, what I'm thinking then is that he's going to remove some kind of alarm. Yeah. Either going to let's see, he's going to use a klaxon to remove somebody, or he can remove a klaxon and lure someone into a trap. I think that sounds a little more devious. So he's going to shut off, he's going to set up a dangerous situation in the ship. He's going to connect a high amperage line to one of the deck plates, and he's going to shut off the monitoring system for that. And then he's going to wait. He's either going to lure or he's just going to wait and see what happens. You see who walks in. So as Luke is sitting there at his station, he doesn't feel good. He tries to make sure that no one else notices. He doesn't think there's really anything wrong with them, just some bad Reiner Gamma space rations. And as he's sitting there wondering why he doesn't feel good, his mind suddenly starts focusing on one of those three. Do random. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. So as he's sitting there, he can kind of feel, he feels feverish to himself. His forehead is a little damp and sweaty, and he's alone on the bridge. Captain Carver is at his station, and as the captain gets up and walks by, he's got his clipboard, one of those like steel folding clipboards, and he looks at Luke as he walks by and says, "You all right, Luke?" "Yes, I'm fine. Just, I think just something I ate maybe." Well, Carver's not happy about that because they're on a new planet. Now he's got a crewman that's not feeling well. All right. Once Rosemary gets back, you be sure to get yourself checked out. If you start running a fever or anything like that, we need to quarantine you. Okay, yes, I know. Now, at this point, the captain knows that if there is something like that, it's already too late, even though they've been, they have to wear the mask to go outside. So Maxwell is now thinking, crap, I hope we didn't already screw the pooch on this. And then he walks back and he goes into his stateroom. He goes into the captain's stateroom to finish filling out his log work in his log books. And then Luke he's gonna try to do something to me. He thinks I'm infected. He starts seething. He's gonna try to kill me. He's gonna leave me on this planet. They're all gonna try to leave me on this planet because they think I've got something. I think I can get home without them. And so he gives his best nod to the captain as the captain takes a final glance over his shoulder, leaving the bridge. Gives Luke a worried look, and then carries on. And Luke's Yeah, I know what to do. I know what to do. All right, now medbay is 11 right there. So Luke, Luke thinks it'll be easy to lure the captain that way, and while he is doing that, all right, so 11 is the med bay, and 10, that's the captain's stateroom and office. So it's right across the way. And Luke pulls out tools, and he sets up a direct line from the captain's door into a nearby high amperage cable beneath the deck. So about 20-30 minutes later, the captain is busily filling out his mission log, mission reports, making sure all of the crew evaluations are filled out, making sure all of the bonus points are ready to, are properly filed in typical corporate ease, as so loved by Reiner Gamma and all the corporations, including the one I worked for in 2022. And the his video phone on his desk lights up, and he answers it, and he sees Luke's face. You okay, Luke? Yeah, I'm in the mid bay now. Um, I think you should come take a look at this. All right, I'll be there in a sec. And he folds up his clipboard and he puts it down, and he goes to open the door. All right, so I think for this, I've added their icons on there. So I think what we need to do is, I think it's going to be important where the other two are at. So I'm just gonna, I think, randomly determine where the other two crew members are. Let's see, what do we got? How many places? I'm just gonna, I am using the explorers. Let's see. I don't think I'll use that directly. I was looking to see what kind of damage a shock like that might do. We have hazards here on page 56. It doesn't give a specific thing for, like being electrocuted by crazy, crazy crewmen or anything like that. So I think I'm probably just going to call it 2d6. It'll be 2d6 damage. Now here there's really two ways to run this. This would be a scene of where normally you would come up with a plan of how they're going to take care of the character. How come up with a plan, set the goal, and then roll once. And I'll be honest, I'd rather have a little more detail as to what's going on here. So instead of making a full scene resolution, I'm going to play it more like kind of like a combat. I'm not going to make it necessarily like a full combat situation, but I am going to resolve it with more than just a single roll. So first off, what we're going to do is we're going to have the captain. We're going to see if he let's see if he notices anything. I'm going to give him a. I'm going to give him. I'm going to say it's an engineer. We'll see if he notices that there's anything strange. Um, but because he's not thinking about it, he's just going to be a -2 on that to see if he notices anything strange about the door. You know, maybe he hears a humming that shouldn't be there. 9. Okay. So I think he does. There's something. The uh, the door is, maybe there's a hum or something like that. But hmm, he doesn't really think about it enough. I'm going to say that um, he doesn't think about what's going on. Certainly, he may think there's a problem with the door, but he's probably not expecting it to be booby trapped. So he's going to open that door. And as he opens the door, crosses the threshold, there's a spark as the high power wire that Luke set across to touch the door, or across the door. There's a zap, power level in the ship drops just for momentarily. The lights flicker, and the captain is going to take 2d6 of damage. 7. So this is going to be 7 points against his. So the first one's going to go straight to his endurance. Sorry, I paused to put the stats for the tokens there to keep track of strength, endurance, and dexterity for the damage. So there's a bright flash, a sparking arc, and the captain screams out in pain as he feels this burn that knocks him, that stuns him. Now for combat, these bars represent strength, dexterity, and endurance. And so we're gonna red. He takes 7 of his 9, so that's gonna drop him down to 2. So he zaps and he stumbles back as the door opens, and he tries to cross that threshold. And then as soon as that flashes and snaps, Luke comes rushing out at him from the sick bay, wielding a hammer that he got from the tool kit that he used to set up the trap. All right. So as I said, I'm going to run this as a combat, which starts on the description starts on page 57. And basically, it normally starts with an initiative roll to see who goes first. I'm going to say in this case, Luke definitely has the initiative, and the captain, he's completely stunned. So as he's writhing in pain from that, Luke attacks him with this. So that hammer's going to count as club and blunt. It's going to inflict 1d6 if he hits. Now the procedure is, all right. So he's going to carry out a hand-to-hand attack. Luke is, and since it's crewman versus crewman, and instead of a monster, alien, xenomorph, other whatever life form, he's just going to use his skills. All right, so he's moved in. He's going to do a hand-to-hand attack. 8+ to succeed. Add the attacker's brawling skill and subtract the defender's brawling skill. What does Luke have? Does Luke have brawling? I know a couple of people ended up with brawling. Okay. Oh, he does have brawling. So that's not going to be good for the captain, which I believe does not have brawling. Nope, no brawling. So for him, he's just going to be straight up brawling, no modifier, because the captain doesn't have it. 9. So Luke does hit the captain for 1 die 3, or 1 die 6 plus 3. Let's see, does Luke have a strength modifier? Nope. 1d6 plus 3. 5. Ooh, 8. Almost maximum. So the captain takes 8 points. When dealing damage in this version of Travelers, there's different flavors of the same thing. Damage is applied first to endurance. All damage is applied to endurance, and then it goes to dexterity, and then it goes to strength. All right, and then depending on how many stats are 0, affects what's going on. So he gets 8. He gets clocked for 8. So that's going to bring that his endurance down to 0. And then that's going to be 6 off of his dexterity, which is going to bring that to 3. Wounded character is knocked over for 1 round, and he suffers a DM -1 to all actions until they receive first aid. So he's in bad shape already. So the captain, the sparks fly, and the medbay hatch slides open, and Luke, his eyes crazy, says, "You're not leaving me here," and then he devolves into a string of Polish that the captain can't understand, and Luke clobbers him right across the forehead with this deck hammer. And the captain stumbles back and he falls down. And Luke just follows him down. He comes down on him, and the fight continues. Blood is pouring from the captain's split open forehead. All right, so he's knocked over for 1 round, which means he's not really able to do anything. All right. Now, at this point, of course, the captain's like, "Stop! Stop!" And Luke is screaming. So now let's figure out where the other 2 crewmen are at, because that is going to become important very soon. All right. So as we look, let me just take a quick peek at what our surrounding rooms are. All right. So 8. Just nearby is the crew lounge. 7's the briefing room. 6 are 2 observation blisters. You can go out and look and watch outside. Let's see. All right, so for each one of the 2 characters, Elisa Sharp and Benicio, I'm going to say on a 4, 5, or 6, they're actually on this forward section, because that's where mostly they're going to be. 4, 5, or 6 for either one of them. All right, so Alicia. Okay, so she is not in this forward section. How about Benicio? No, not good for the captain. Not good for the captain. Let's see. So they are off. Let's say 4, 5, or 6. They're off together. Maybe not, just working on something. That doesn't necessarily mean, any kind of fraternization. 4, 5, or 6. Although on a 6, maybe a relationship role is due. All right. So they are together wherever they're at. So they're either going to be in the low section, lower crew section, lower science section, the cargo deck, or the main deck. All right, so 1 through 3, they're somewhere on the main deck. And then 4 for the lower, 4 for lower crew, 5 for the lower science, and then 6 for lower cargo. All right, so they are somewhere on the main deck, somewhere below. So they're really Well, they might be close. Let's see. All right, so the way I've cut and paste everything doesn't show, but the this part right here actually connects right there. All right, so that hatch matches up with that hatch. So they may actually be very close. 1, 2, 3. Get rid of that. And I'm just gonna roll 1 die 6. The lower I get, the closer they are. All right, so I'm going to say that they are, they're either in 19 or 20. What's 19 or 20? Okay, the upper cargo hold or the fuel processor. You know what? The fuel processor sounds like a good place. They're running standard maintenance type stuff. So we'll put Alicia and oops. We'll say they're just in there. They're in there doing their typical post-flight stuff, working on preventative maintenance, something along those lines. But okay, so there's a door there. They're very close, but they're probably not going to hear anything between all the doors that are shut unless the captain can somehow either escape or get to a comms. Let's see. And in this case, so we'll switch back over to our combat area. Okay. So the captain he's on the ground bleeding. What are you doing, Luke? What the hell are you doing? Stop it! Stop! And Luke is just replying in screams in Polish, and the captain has no idea. But Luke is he's drooling. His eyes are wide with insane rage as he's still trying to club bash the captain's skull in. So the next turn, the captain is, let's see, he's knocked down. Does that necessarily mean he can't do anything back? Let's see. He's knocked over, so he's on the ground. All right, so I'm going to say he's just trying to wrestle with them. He's on the ground, -1 to his actions. He's not even trying to hurt him. He's just trying to grab onto that hammer. So as the hammer comes down, the captain's trying to grab it, and so he's going to be at -1 for his DM, and he doesn't have brawling at all. So I think I'll just give him a straight strength roll. In this situation, I'm going to say that he can at least try to grab it, but he is going to be at -1 for being wounded and knocked down. Oh, all right. So he is not able to resist or grab. He's just he's still in stun. He just got electrocuted, and then he got hit in the head with the hammer. So the captain is just dazed, and he's just screaming. His arms are flailing uselessly as Luke brings the hammer down once again, trying to club the skipper to death. Oh my goodness. That's a good roll there. And there's also, he gets a +1 if his strength or dexterity, player's choice, is 9 or higher. So in this case, the captain, I should have given him a +1, but he still wouldn't have been able to do anything. That only would have given him a 7. And Luke would have gotten a +1, but he didn't even really need it because he rolled really high as it is. In other flavors, you would add effect to the damage. I don't see that here, and I think that's probably just to streamline the situation, or the combat. So I'm not going to add it. Not going to add it in there. But the captain is going to take D6 +3. Another 7. So he's going to take 7 more points. So that's going to drop his dexterity, his second attribute, down to 0. And then 4 off of his strength. All right. Let's see what his status is now. All right, so when you're taking damage, you start with your endurance. When it's reduced to 0, the character's wounded. So the captain was wounded last turn. Any more damage is taken from dexterity, and if that is reduced to 0, the character is incapacitated. And that's where the captain is. And should the character receive more damage points, they are subtracted from strength. When strength and everything else is reduced to 0, the character is dead. So right now the captain is knocked out for 2d6 minutes. All right, 4 minutes. And he's severely injured, bleeding, and in shock. Okay, and of course, the doctor's not there, on the ship anyway. And this is not just like, hey, I'm knocked out until my hit points come up. Because when you look here, without first aid, he has to make an endurance roll every d6 hours or he dies. All right, so he's at death's door. Not in a good way. So Luke brings a hammer down on the captain's head again and again and again, and the captain finally lets out a scream, like, oh! And when the final thud hits, everything goes black for the captain. His face is covered in blood, and there's a pool of blood expanding on the deck beneath his head. The hammer's opened up several lacerations. His cheeks busted open. His orbital right above his eye is cracked, but he's unconscious. Now, Luke, his looming crisis point was that he starts murdering other crewmen. So he's not quite in his right mind, but he's also not stupid. So on a 4, 5, or 6, he's just going to kill the captain. He's going to beat his head in. Otherwise, he's going to look down at the captain and either assume he's dead or dying, which, I mean, is true. He is dying. But we'll see how his crazed mind is working. 4, 5, or 6, and it's curtains for the captain. Oh. So Luke pulls up his hammer, blood dripping from the end of it, and he looks down and he sees the captain that he's worked with for some time now, but he almost doesn't recognize him. There's a part of him that this virus has caused this insanity. He doesn't see the captain as his longtime friend anymore. He sees him as someone who is trying to kill him. And so Luke takes his hammer, grabs the captain around the throat, and crushes the captain's forehead in, caves it in. Brains and blood splatter across the deck. The captain's body starts twitching, and Luke, thinking the captain's waking up again, he continues to smash and smash the brains out of the captain's bloody skull. Until finally, covered in blood splatters on his face, his hammer dripping with gore, he stands up, panting. You won't leave me here. And neither will anyone else. So, in the course of this combat, he is now dead. Poor captain. Luke he walks away, leaving gory, bloody footprints across the deck. I don't think that anyone will have heard that. I mean, that took just seconds, really. The captain got zapped, and Luke was in on him and crushed his skull in, splattered his brains on the deck with a hammer. But I will say that because that zap did cause some, because that trap, when it electrocuted the captain, there was a noticeable dimming of the lights. At least here. I'm going to say on a 5 or a 6 that one or the other of the either Benicio or Alicia decided to make their way forward during this time. Only on a 5 or 6. Otherwise, they're kind of stuck in there doing their PMs because, a lot of times when you get in the middle of doing some kind of complicated maintenance evolution, you don't really want to stop. 5 or 6. Nope. So Luke, let me just say for now, he kind of disappears. And we turn to Alicia and Benicio. As they're working together, as the captain's being murdered, let's go ahead and roll on a relationship table for those guys. See if anything is between those, and we'll roll for Alicia. We'll start with Alicia. They're working together, so there's no conflict at this point, at least that we can see. Well, you know what? They did actually have some conflict earlier. Let's have Alicia make a reaction roll to see if they can continue working. And either way, we'll go ahead and we'll roll up a relationship between them, or make a relationship roll. All right, so she's not able to let it go. She still has some kind of resentment towards that whole thing with the sensor rolls where she messed up and caused them to have to go again. And even though Benicio didn't really say or do anything except let's start over, she's still holding a grudge against him, and she's a joker and not taking anything serious. So this whole maintenance evolution, she's making little jokes. She's pretending not to hear. She's oh, insert the plug where, and it's really starting to aggravate Benicio. Um, so now we will roll on a relationship. We'll roll for on her side. All right, 3, 5. Oops. All right, so 3, 5. When we go to our character interactions, old and these days ex-friends. Okay, so they apparently have worked together. Maybe they went to some kind of flight school or something together, but they are no longer friends. So they are now not necessarily hostile, but she does not like him anymore. So I'm going to go ahead and note that on there, and we'll see how that plays later on here. Okay. All right. So I'm no longer friends with Benicio. All right. So she's making these jokes. Oh, and she keeps calling him Ben. She knows he doesn't like being called Ben. My name is Benicio, not Ben. And especially from her because she has pissed him off. So he doesn't want any kind of uh, friendly banter from her. And so he's as they're working together, he finally says, "You know what? Why don't you go do something else? Get out of my freaking hair." "Oh, well, I didn't realize you're so sensitive, Ben. Get out. Go run the diagnostics on the sensors again, especially yours. This time maybe you can get the readings right." "How long are you going to keep throwing that in my face, Ben?" "Jeez. Fine." So she goes storming off. And she's going to go storming off into the front of the ship, which is going to put her, oh, where's that? Over here. So she goes storming off, and she comes through the hatch into the forward section, and immediately as she's storming by, she sees the door is shut to both medbay and the captain's stateroom, and she doesn't notice. Let's see, on a 5 or a 6, 5 or 6, she's going to slip in the blood pool. She'll notice it either way, but almost. All right, so she steps forward through there, and she's getting ready to go give the captain a piece of her mind about that asshole Ben, and she stops right before stepping into the blood. She's like, "Huh?" And at first she thinks it's paint, and then she recognizes that sweet iron smell of blood, and there's a lot of it, and it's smeared down the door, and she sees the arcs or the burn the carbon scorched up on along the bulkhead next to the captain's the door into the captain's room. And now she's on full alert, but in her head she's seeing blood, and she's seeing some kind of electrical short. So she's not necessarily putting foul play together yet. So she opens up and she says, "Captain," and she steps down, and she kneels down, and she doesn't even know what to do. I mean, his head is just completely crushed. It is a massive gory, his eyes are splattered, his teeth are at different angles, just smashed because his whole forehead is caved in. His head is empty. His brains are literally on the deck. and she is freaking out. And in fact, I think she's going to freak out for a reaction roll. Let's see what kind of see if she's able to keep herself together at all. Okay, 9. So at first she screams, and then she starts. She overcomes her initial shock and the idea that this is some kind of joke. What's going on? And then she realizes there's nothing she can do. He is dead. So she gets up and she goes to the intercom, the ship's intercom, and says, "Luke, Benicio, get to the captain's quarters now! Get to the captain's stateroom now! Emergency!" And her voice is cracking. She's looking around. She just doesn't know what to do. She has basic first aid training, but it's obvious that he's done. There's nothing she can do. Does Luke attack her now, or does he wait? He obviously knows where she's at because she just announced it over the intercom, over the ship's intercom. I'm saying a 5 or a 6. He'll take some kind of immediate action. Otherwise, he's hiding somewhere. I don't even know where he's hiding right now. And I'm the GM. 5 or 6. Okay, nope. So he's playing it safe. He's hiding somewhere. And they're going to have to figure out what to do. All right. Now I'm not going to sit here and move them all around the map. Just at this point, but just to get them close together. Benicio, he comes running in. The door is still open, and he stops, and he looks around the corner, and he looks at the captain, and he sees Alicia. She's kind of sobbing. She's got tears running out, but she's in control of herself. She's just, well, she's not used to seeing people's heads bashed in, especially someone that she knows and respects, her captain. And he starts spouting off, "Ay, chingada. What happened? What happened? I don't know. I came around and he was just like this. There's blood out there. Look on the door. Careful. I don't know if there's a short. A short? A short wouldn't bash his brains in. He may burn him into a crisp. Where's Luke? Where's Luke?" And then she looks up at him. Well, she knows that it wasn't. He obviously was attacked. He obviously his head has been smashed in. And there's no random piece of starship equipment that's just randomly smashing together for people to heroically jump through. He's in his office, and his head is bashed in. And then she looks with realization. Luke, because everyone else is gone. They're gone. The rest of the crew is gone. They're out in the ATV taking samples. Oh my God. Luke did this. He must have. What in the world? No, Luke would not do something like this, but we need to get the rover. Yes, we need to get the rover. Come on, let's get to the bridge. And so they're going to race up and going to get to the comm station and try to raise the rover. So they're no longer friends. But now they're stuck in a ship with someone who's just been murdered in a very bloody way. And I think that's probably a good place to stop. All right, so something finally horror, hostile happened. Okay, and this is a good reason why that that looming crisis was put up, because up to this point, nothing had really inspired, or up to that point, nothing had really inspired or triggered anything just yet. You know, really, they've been making most of their rolls, so everything had been going great. Um, so it's like I said, it's a good clock. So even if everything's going great, eventually using the looming crisis and the drama points, something's going to happen. Something happened. Now the captain's dead. All right. Well, I hope y'all enjoyed that. I certainly did. And, oof, gruesome. But happy gaming. See you next time.